Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fed News, your December through January monthly recap of everything that's happened in the Fed. Again, your fake wrestling news. Let's get started. So in the wrestling news, Draws is in talks to join the UWA developmental. Kabashi is in talks. Kenta Kabashi, typo there, is in talks with UWA development, and Mark Henry has signed on with UWA developmental. It has been officially announced that Ricky Morton has been injured and will be out for 2 months. Ricky, of course, injured during his title defense of the Hardcore Championship, so no surprise there. He was a reigning champion, having defended it 3 times, but every week, hardcore matches can take a toll on the body. Ricky, hoping for a speedy recovery, he's going to be out for about estimated 2 months. So let's kick it off with week one. Week one, we had Velocity as Giant Gonzalez and Spike Dudley making his return, defeated Norman Smiley and Reggie by pinfall. Simon Dean and Simon Diamond versus the Good Brothers ends in a time limit draw. In the main event sees Don Morocco defeat Robert Gibson, who came down to kind of get revenge for injuring Ricky Morton. However, Don Morocco was successful in retaining his hardcore title. Over to the main show, though, is the Usos defeated the Gemini by pinfall. Nathan Jones defeats Justin Gabriel by pinfall. Braun Breaker defeated Bob Backlund by pinfall. Macho Man Randy Savage defeats A-Train by pinfall. Of course, all these superstars are now scheduled for the Royal Rumble no matter what, but this was just a chance to get more points and get a higher calling into the drawing for the Rumble. And the main event was Batista defeat Marty Jannetty by pinfall. Or week 2 now is Chris Candido and Cesaro defeated Titus O'Neil and Johnny Gargano by pinfall. Spike Dudley would actually defeat Don Morocco to become the hardcore champion. And in the main event would see Randy Rose defeat Jerry Saggs to win the UWA Television Championship. So 2 champions crowned on Velocity during week 2. Over to Superstars, though, as The Fiend and Dennis Connery ends in a time limit draw. Nathan Jones defeats Brian Knobbs by pinfall. X-Pac defeating Jerry Lynn by pinfall. Their rivalry continues on. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Heath Slater by pinfall with stipulation that if he beat Slater, he would get a United States title shot at the Royal Rumble. And that is now officially locked in. The main event would see Roddy Piper defeat Batista, Owen Hart, Randy Savage to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, Cody Rhodes and Yokozuna are scheduled to have a rematch from their previous main event match at Armageddon. Cody, of course, on the PR tour right now. Yokozuna back at home training, as he does not have to wrestle very often. So neither man showing up this whole month until the pay-per-view. Over to week 3 now, as the Good Brothers defeat Norman Smiley and Reggie and Simon Diamond and Simon Dean by pinfall in a triple threat tag match. Giant Gonzalez defeats Don Morocco by pinfall. This is, of course, what would happen was during the Spike Dudley Don Morocco match, Giant Gonzalez actually would help Spike Dudley win the match, and then Don Morocco would want his revenge. However, Giant Gonzalez beats Don Morocco, and the main event would see Chris Candido, though, defeat Spike Dudley by pinfall, because Giant Gonzalez would try to help Spike Dudley retain his title, only for Don Morocco to interfere again. Chris Candido is your new hardcore champion. Now, LOD would defeat William Regal and Braun Breaker in the opening match of Superstars. The Fiend finally defeats Dennis Connery. Nathan Jones continues by beating Brian Pillman by pinfall. John Morrison defeats Justin Gabriel in a great match to show both men's high-flying talents. And Batista defeats Owen Hart and Chris Jericho by pinfall. On to week 4 now, as Sylvan defeats Doink the Clown by pinfall. Giant Gonzalez defeats Chris Candido, getting revenge for Spike and becoming the hardcore champion. And Cesaro defeats Randy Rose to become the UWA Television Champion. So Randy Rose, very short title reign. Same with Chris Candido. Over to Superstars, though, as A-Train defeats Brian Knobbs before we head to the Royal Rumble. The Usos defeat Marty Jannetty and Justin Gabriel by pinfall. LOD defeats Gemini by pinfall. Batista and Brian Pillman defeat X-Pac and Nathan Jones by pinfall. And the main event would see Roddy Piper defeat Bob Backlund by submission. John Morrison was at commentary for this match in the main event. He wanted to size up his competition. The crossface chicken wing was almost locked in, but Piper was able to reverse into a sleeper hold on to it, and get the arm drop 3. He wins. John Morrison, of course, and Roddy Piper will face each other at the Royal Rumble for the Intercontinental title. A hype package also was shown between Yokozuna and Cody Rhodes. Kicking off to the pay-per-view now, as the match card looks like this. Shinsuke Nakamura will challenge for Heath Slater's U.S. title. LOD will challenge for the Usos tag title. Remember, the LOD still has possession of the belts after they felt that they unjustly lost to Usos, refusing to actually give the belts up to them. So they said, though, that they will agree if that Usos beat them, they will hand the belts over to them. Batista versus Chris Jericho will take place. Roddy Piper versus John Morris for the IC title will take place. And then the 30-man Rumble match, 30 superstars. And Yokozuna versus Cody Rhodes for the world title. So over to Velocity's Royal Rumble, and this was actually a unique stipulation as Sylvain would defeat Giant Gonzalez by pinfall for the hardcore title, and Reggie and Norman Smiley defeats the Good Brothers by pinfall. Now, a chance to earn a spot in the Rumble took place with 10 superstars, and Simon Diamond defeating Johnny Gargano, Don Morocco, Simon Dean, Titus O'Neil, Chris Candido, Spike Dudley, Doink the Clown, Randy Rose, Jerry Saggs, by being last left in the ring to earn a spot in the Rumble. So tonight he will make his pay-per-view debut in the Royal Rumble. Will he be successful? Will he win the whole thing? How long will he stay? We'll find out very shortly. The main event would see Darren Young making his return to defeat Larry Zbyszko by pinfall and become the new UWA International Champion. Larry Zbyszko also entered the Royal Rumble, or will be entering the Royal Rumble as well, as he stated before the match. Over to the Rumble now, as Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Heath Slater by pinfall to become the new United States Champion. The Usos and LOD ends a double countout. LOD, of course, again taking the belts and leaving. Batista defeats Chris Jericho by pinfall, and Roddy Piper would defeat John Morrison by submission to win the Intercontinental title. And the 30-man match winner was John Morrison. He'd go all the way, the last eliminating Brian Knobbs of all things. The final four were Batista, it was Jesse Gemini, it was Brian Knobbs, and it was John Morrison. And Batista, even though he did not win, he took fourth place in the final four. He also had the highest elimination count of the night with 7 eliminations. The main event, Cody Rhodes would defeat Yokozuna, retain his World Heavyweight title. So the champions are, the Usos officially are the tag champions, despite LOD refusing to give the belts back to them, so they did get new belts. Shinsuke Nakamura, your new U.S. champion. Roddy Piper, the Intercontinental champion. Cesaro, the TV champion. Sylvain, hardcore champion. Darren Young, the international champion. Brian Pillman, not defending his belt at this pay-per-view, will defend it tomorrow at week 1, but he is your light heavyweight champion, and Cody Rhodes is still your world heavyweight champion. That's all for this week. Tune in next week as we see what happens. Remember that John Morrison now has a title shot in 6 months at the biggest show of the year in the main event. So who will be the new number one contender to Cody Rhodes? Will Cody Rhodes still be champion by the time we get to the big event? And will he face John Morrison? Only way to find out is keep tuning in. Check out next time.